Who can eat a pizza in Canada?
Hey, Maniacs.
Hey, Mystery Maniacs. Mystery Maniacs is a comedy recap podcast dedicated to mystery TV. Each week we dig into an episode of the show, including the murders, the mayhem, the loonies, and everything else we love.
This week, Brokenwood, Season 7, Episode 2.
The Witches of Brokenwood, which is the least witchy episode ever.
So disappointing.
Disappointing, the lack of witchiness.
There's no witches. There's no witchiness.
Nope. And it's certainly no witches of
The closest thing in this episode is Silver Cloud
yes.
to a witch, and he's not.
And in the end, in the end, Silver Cloud tells the truth and is nice to people.
Yeah.
And yet we think that he's horrible.
Well, he's cheating on his girlfriend.
Yeah, that's
Who's the best vegan chef in New Zealand.
apparently.
This is our 10th episode in 4 weeks.
Yes.
We're cranking.
We're a little slap happy. We've had 5 minis and 4 full episodes.
If you're not listening to the minis before you watch season 11, you're missing out.
There's all sorts of weird connections between 11 and 7.
Yeah, there are.
Sudden Chalmers.
Yeah. You forget that he just shows up at the end of the episode.
We mentioned in at least
We are
4
going
or
to spoil
5.
things. This is a spoiler podcast.
Yes.
The minis are spoiler free. This is not.
This is not.
Just saying.
We did mention in several episodes previous to this that we met Roxy. We do not meet Roxy.
No.
I was completely wrong.
You never see her.
And that I thought there was a big build up to Breen's last show. Like there were 2 or 3
No, he's
episodes.
just gone.
He's just gone.
No.
Now
Roxy is a video game playing, pole dancing, jujitsu karate master who teaches scuba diving. She sounds quite interesting, actually.
She does indeed sound interesting.
She's James Bond.
And Breen gets a better send off than, say, Scott in Midsummer.
Right.
But wow.
He's just gone.
And
that's it.
I don't
Ginger
know.
Ranger.
We'll get to it, but Chalmers must have been doing undercover work when he gets there.
All right. So this episode takes place at Brokenwood Health Retreat.
Yes. So,
Otherwise known as the prison you pay to stay at.
Yeah, I don't understand it. The 5th of April, 2021 is when it was released. Addie Walker directed it and Sarah Kate Lynch wrote it, and with Tim Baum, of course.
Are men allowed at this retreat?
I don't know.
Like the only men that are there are either visiting or Silver Cloud. Like, do you think they ever take male clients?
I don't know. And I'm kind of okay with that because it's supposed to be a healing place. I completely understand that. But the presence of the golf pro must have been upsetting. I thought more people would get upset.
Maybe they like alternate. Like if you want to book and you're a man, you book on during a man's week.
Yes.
And this is just a women's week. But it seems like some of these women live there. They're there way too often. I don't know how they can afford it.
So these 2 young women are going to the sauna, and us, who have had experience with these kind of cozy murders, know
They're about to find a body.
they're going to find a body.
I love that they say it smells like dumplings,
Yes.
but it's just a steamed body.
Yes.
People taste like pork, I guess. Maybe they smell like steamed pork dumplings.
So
I really like those too.
I think yes, I do too. I hope we see more of them. I'm not sure if we do. We also, I think we've told the sauna Finland story before.
Sauna and steam rooms are different.
Yeah.
I don't like either one of them for the record.
So,
but all I thought when Sims talks about the towel that you're supposed to be sitting on and Joy, the body, is not sitting on her towel.
It's a laudalina right there.
Is the Finnish word for the butt towel for the sauna. It's a laudalina.
So if you haven't got to that episode,
it's the only Finnish word I picked up.
Told you, we went to Finland to do some academic talks. It was a weird time. And we arrived. I'm still amazed that we arrived at like midnight in this northern Finnish town to meet these people who we had never met really before.
But we were going to stay with them.
We were going to stay with them, and
we
our
had-
luggage did not arrive.
Our luggage was in Cleveland, Ohio, I think.
So we had been in the same clothes for 24 hours.
Oh,
at
at
the
least.
very
I think
least.
like 36. We were crusty. It was bad.
Yeah, and they were like, "Well, you have to sauna."
Oh,
Okay.
okay. They were nice.
They were extremely nice, but it was not. I did not smell the best. I know.
We had to buy all of our replacement clothing in a department store that was basically from like the Soviet era. It
Yes.
was a really bizarre department store.
There will be more Soviet stories later on, by the way.
Okay, so the ladies are all. Oh, what?
So, in a weird situation here, everyone arrives in the same car. That's a very weird thing for this show.
It's rare
Yeah.
for the show.
Breen is in the back seat like a little kid.
Yes.
He might as well ask are we there yet?
Yeah. So Joy is dead.
Yes.
In the sauna. In the steam room. The difference is one is dry and one is wet. Mm-hmm. And Fleur, the owner, immediately gets on my nerves.
Yes.
Like,
She
I
is-
understand being a business owner and having to protect your business, but a little sympathy when what you're supposed to be doing is like healing people's emotional side as well as their physical side wouldn't go awry, I think.
And the retreat has a little bit of plot armor in that it's simultaneously giving away free nights and just about to go under.
Yeah.
There very rarely are situations in any of these cozy shows where it's like, no, my business is pretty successful. It's not wildly successful, but it's pretty successful, and I'm doing okay.
It's stable and I have a comfortable living.
Yes, there's
And I
very
don't-
rarely businesses.
Without owing money to anybody
No.
unduly or anything like that. It's just a good business, except Frodo. He seems to be doing okay. It also has a little bit of plot armor in that it is like a prison. You can't leave and there's cameras everywhere. And yet people go in and out all the time.
Yeah, it's like an Agatha Christie plot.
It's like the fence is man permeable,
yes.
but not woman permeable, I guess. Because
Well,
Frodo gets in. Gren gets in.
Yep.
You know, but nobody's getting out.
Does Mike know what a steam room is? He kind of is like, huh? What is this?
Yeah, I don't know what the purpose of that is. Why he pretends he doesn't know what it is.
I think the purpose is just to give him something to talk about while he's in that room. Like,
guess.
with exposition scenes like that, sometimes you get a lot of people, and there are a lot of people there.
Yeah.
So we need Mike to talk about something. So let's have Mike talk about not knowing what it is.
Meanwhile, Roxy is off teaching scuba diving,
Yes.
and Breen begins his, did you see the paperwork?
Oh, by the way, I'm leaving.
But we don't know what it is yet.
Yes.
Would you, assuming that this place welcomed men,
Yes.
and it was a gift certificate or something, you didn't have to worry about money, would you like to go to a place like
So
this?
have you ever been to anything like this?
No.
The closest thing I've been to that was like this was, I don't know if I've told you about this nightmare that an ex-girlfriend and I went on to the norths of Canada in the middle of winter to like a winter retreat thing.
Was it to see the Northern Lights or something, or go skiing, or?
There were lots of activities, but she was interested in none of them.
Oh,
And then we drove home in probably the worst snowstorm I've driven in years.
That doesn't sound like fun.
It was not fun.
no. I mean, I've gone to a spa for like a massage, but I didn't really like it.
It's not your kind of place.
No. The idea of meditating, just no.
I'd much prefer, and I think you're the same way, but you don't work like me. I would love to go to a place with a cottage where I could spend a week working on things I wanted to work on.
Yeah, and going swimming in a
Like
lake or something.
writing, swimming on a lake, having a campfire at night and cooking on the campfire, cooking on a grill or something like that. That would be a perfectly...
I don't even like naps.
Yeah.
And the idea of a pedicure gives me the heebie-jeebies. I'm glad other people are into those things.
Sarah has some problems. Relax.
I'm not good at it. It's not a skill I'm eager to improve, I guess.
I would say that you relax differently.
Yeah, by doing shit.
And I'm the same way. Like, it's very hard for me to.
Says the man who falls asleep on the couch almost every day at 4:00.
Well, there is that.
Yeah.
And I was about to say, I just don't read a book or don't just listen to music, but I do both of those
You do both of those
all
things.
the time.
Yeah.
Like, I'll sit out, I'll have a fire in the evening and outside, of course, and just sit and listen to music. And that I'm quite happy doing that.
Yep. And I don't want to sit out there unless I got a marshmallow on a stick.
No.
Like, just sit there. Just sit. Just sit. Still. Just sit. Only if you strap me down. This is the most passive-aggressive treehouse I've ever seen.
I love the passive-aggressive treehouse.
Must you?
First of all, it is not a treehouse. Okay, a treehouse, I would say, requires at least space for more than one person.
I think 2 people could sit up there.
Nah, it would be tough.
When Mike's sitting up there, he seems to have some space.
Second of all,
Must you?
must you?
That sign is awful. Never mind that it hits everybody on the head, too. I think that's kind of on purpose. Sims goes up there because it's the only place you can get cell signal. She calls Gina. Gina answers, "I'm feeling very disturbed by you." Well, hi, Gina. How are you?
This season 7, and season 11 that we're covering in the minis, Gina and Sims' relationship is very similar.
And it's all Gina.
And Gina is just Snark McStark.
She doesn't want to tell Sims anything.
Yeah.
She criticizes her all the time. She corrects her all the time. But I don't think Sims doesn't seem competitive with Gina.
But
it seems to be one direction.
What I love about the passive-aggressive treehouse, which is, of course, the name of the episode,
Yes.
is that it is, so obviously the writer or Tim Baum or someone in the writing room has been to one of these things.
Yeah.
And did not get cell service the way they wanted to, so had to do some weird stuff to get cell service.
Yeah,
right?
like climb a big rock.
I would
and hold their
imagine
phone
Tim
up.
Baum's phone rings on a regular basis. So what they do, which is good writing, is they move it into the extreme, but not the absurd.
Right.
So it's plausible. You could go, yeah, I could see that. Never mind the technology and all that stuff doesn't work like that. We're going to skip over that. But then just pushes it into comedy, just that tiny little bit with the must you sign.
Well, and the size of the treehouse, as you mentioned, it's so small. I think that's on purpose. Like, they don't want it to be a comfortable place. They don't want you to go up there and hang out and play Angry Birds.
No, I don't think
It's the
so.
last resort if you absolutely have to make an emergency call. Though, they must have landlines. They run a business.
They must have landlines.
So if you had an emergency call to make.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Second of all, there's a mower parked behind the
Treehouse?
treehouse, but no maintenance guy.
No.
And it's kind of implied that she hasn't got a maintenance guy, that she's doing it all herself. But again, she's send out Silver Snot or whatever his name is. Like, have him go fix the freaking ladder. No, I'm running the apothecary. Okay, apothecary dispenses drugs.
He's doing 4-hour tribal awakenings.
Yes.
That takes up a lot of your day.
They have a special name for natural medicine that works. It's called
Medicine. Then Mike's in the car on his own, and he's listening to music. Obviously, he always does. And we get some yodeling music.
Yes.
Now, you know far more about music than I do.
Yes.
I know that yodeling is originally an alpine thing. It's a communication method across vast distances. Yodeling carries.
Was then co-opted by the country music scene of the United States.
How did that happen?
I'm not sure, but it certainly hit its peak with a young gentleman named Slim Whitman.
I thought it was Lawrence Welk.
No, it was probably Slim Whitman.
But how does that happen?
I don't know, but
there's folk
definitely
music in
yodeled.
other areas of the world that have not been co-opted into country western music.
I would disagree wholeheartedly. Country music is a very derivative form. Like the use of the banjo is all stolen from African music.
Okay.
So,
But there I can say, well, there were enslaved people, unfortunately, who may have brought that music with them, or immigrants who brought that music with them. And so it got melded. But I don't know of any Swedish...
you're not aware of the Swiss
great
enslavement?
The great Swiss migration of the 1930s? No, I'm not.
And it was men and women in the 30s, that sort of bluegrassy country 30s, 40s music.
Maybe yodeling
into
carries
the little 50s.
Carries across the holler just as well as it carries across the
But
mountains.
it was certainly a thing. And there, like Slim Whitman is famous for yodeling.
He's really, Sven Whitland. You just didn't know.
Now, I've heard Dolly Parton yodel too. So
I know.
It's definitely...
I'm not questioning that. I just don't know where they got it,
Yeah.
how they got it. Anyway, we're back at the golf club, that craptacular murderous place.
Yes. But we have a whole new round of golf players.
Yeah, all new jerks. Did you notice the sign when Mike is driving in?
No, but I did notice you took a picture of it. What?
The name of the golf club is just blacked out.
Oh, it's just got like tape over it?
Yeah, it's just blacked out.
Yeah.
They could have done better than that.
It's only on the sign. It's only in the shot for very short amount of time.
But the newspaper was only on the screen for a very short amount of time.
We agree, and we'll get to something later. The greatest sign of this episode.
Fact Alexander was only on the screen for a short amount of time.
But maybe, I'm going to suggest that maybe some of the set design was phoned in a little bit for
They could have at least used white tape on the white sign.
You would think, but
not black tape on the white sign.
Blacked out.
What kind of name is Gren?
I do not know.
Is it short for Grendel?
Gren McNair. My mother is a monster.
Greenwich? I was trying to think what Gren could be short for.
Do not know. Oh, by the way, we were divorcing. Okay, what?
Well, and he does my second least favorite thing that a potential suspect does. My first least favorite thing is when they run. Like, that's just dumb.
Yes.
What are you going to do, run for the rest of your life?
Yes.
No. The second least favorite thing I like that a suspect does is when they say, I'm looking for Bob Smith, and they go, who's asking? And it's always that person who says, who's asking?
Yeah.
Like, if they say, the cops, they go, we don't know him. Like, okay, that's not going to, stop it. It's dumb.
I totally often think, what if we found a body and somebody came to our door to ask us questions, how we would interact with these people. And it's nothing like any of these people do.
No.
We would be incredibly helpful.
If the police came to the
what
door.
are you writing down?
Yeah.
Can we have your notebook?
We would be obnoxious at the other end.
Yes.
It's like when Mo and I thought the lady down the street was in trouble and we didn't want to leave because we wanted to find out what happened. And they're like, you can go now. We're like, are you sure you don't need? No,
Yeah.
we do not need you.
We do not need you. In the steam room, there are bushes for whacking.
Gina's special
They
in this
just
episode.
leave that alone and it smells like boiled kartoshka. Do you know what that is?
Cabbage?
Potatoes.
Well, the poor woman was a big boil in a bag.
Yeah.
Gina doesn't hold back. She calls her a crock pot later. This poor woman died. And Joy's sisters, they're supposed to be the witches of Brokenwood, right?
Yeah.
So that's what Gren calls them because he hates them. And I remember the first time we saw this, I was thinking, ooh, are they witchy? Like, are they evil?
Like,
no.
and the title implies Witches of Eastwick, which is an 80s movie based on a book in which Cher,
Susan
Sarandon, and Michelle Pfeiffer
and Jack Nicholson
are seduced by Jack Nicholson,
Who's the devil?
who plays the devil, and they are the witches. And it's a fantastically cheeky, fun movie. I think
I will never forget the scene where that woman just starts throwing up the cherry pits and can't stop.
Yes.
It's so disturbing.
They're such...
But they're witches.
They are witches.
These three are just the three like misfit sisters. You know, they kind of remind me of the three sisters in Hocus Pocus.
Yes.
There's like the young one. There's the young one who's kind of pretty, and the older one who's really nasty, and the other one who's kind of stupid.
Well, there's three sisters that they could have like. There are so many three sisters in mythology they could have made reference to.
Yes, they could have done so many interesting things.
So many interesting.
None of those things they did.
Now, one of the things I'm going to harp on in this episode is that Joy is a different person to every single person in her life.
Yes.
She's completely different to different people. Like, incredibly cruel to some people, just nasty to other people, and then she's like all lovey-dovey with Grendel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so weird how different she is with people. But Gren says that he doesn't like the sisters, and I'm like, of course you don't. They obviously mistreated Joy at some point in time.
Well, I think she gave it back.
Well, and then...
But he's going to take her side.
They made her into dim sum.
I like when they go to the police station for the first time, the sisters... And Mike basically gets them there by saying that they have coffee and tea and cookies. And they're like, okay.
Yeah.
And when April gets really mad, she's like, we're leaving.
Yeah.
Kitty grabs half the cookies on the plate on the way out. Because they've had like nothing but water and kale.
There's a brief discussion of Mike's chakras. And he's like, I don't have any chakras.
I don't have chakras. And lots of talk about Kristen's bad coffee. And Breen hands him a cup of coffee. And he says, did Kristen make this? And he says, no, I did. And he goes, good.
Like, it's totally out in the open now.
Mm-hmm.
Mike forwards the information onto Hughes about Breen's change in position.
He's leaving. Is drum ball a real thing? Do people actually do that? Beat on yoga balls with drumsticks?
No.
Okay.
And I was like, who is that again? And then I was like, oh, yeah.
It's Frodo's non-girlfriend.
It's not Frodo's girlfriend.
She wants to keep it on the down low. Yeah, whatever, Frodo.
Which, again, is another reference to season 11. They are connected in weird ways. Joy's laptop would be completely useless unless she was doing spreadsheets. Because I'm sure they don't have Wi-Fi that's available.
Yeah, I don't know what she would be doing on it. Frodo is such a hustler. So not only does he bring the coffee cart around so the ladies can slip over and get a cup of coffee, he's delivering pizzas on the down low too to April. Every night she eats an entire pizza.
And then waits for the box. And on the box it is...
Porky Pigeon.
Gourmet Ray's Porky Pigeon.
So he's delivering for Ray.
And so I was wrong. Again, I admit these things when I find them. I said that there was only one other episode to mention Gourmet Ray's Porky Pigeon. But now, season 11, there is a Porky Pig reference in...
Porky Pigeon,
Porky Pigeon reference in season 11.
I love that Frodo wears all black. He's got the sock hat on. He puts the stuff on his face. Yeah. He's totally...
He kind of falls out of the bushes.
Guerrilla pizza delivery. Yeah. He's like, I'm not breaking any laws, right? That's not against the law,
and
right?
I love how the not girlfriend is like, they have a special code when somebody's coming and they have to hide their drinks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's...
Nutritionist inbound. Go, go, go.
Not only does Frodo get in there, but he gets his truck in there.
Yes. The non-girlfriend's name is Kimberly.
Yes.
Of course, Mrs. M is there too.
Of course. She's got to do something.
Sitting on a bench being the wise old woman.
Talking about Brazilians. What's a Brazilian? Mike, you don't want to know.
You don't want to know.
No.
They joke about a Brozillion.
Yeah.
And I looked it up, and I found 2 spas that refer to it as a manzillion.
Ugh.
That's what they That's what these two spas called it. Maybe they call it Brozilians
the
too.
Legend of Zelda shows up.
The Ocarina of Time.
So an ocarina, most well known for being part of the
Legend of Zelda video games.
Zelda video games, but actually a very old instrument.
Yes.
Right. It does make sense that crazy old Silver Cloud would be blowing away on his panpipes.
He has a ponytail and therefore should not be trusted.
I agree.
You can't say that.
As a person who had a ponytail.
Just because a man has a ponytail doesn't mean he's not trustworthy.
I had a ponytail in the 80s. Oh.
The tribal awakening ceremony. Do you think there's some kind of like ayahuasca involved in that?
There's certainly some kind of something.
Or mushrooms or...
I want to know how many things they did. So he burns the incense and...
wraps her in the gauze, ties her to a tree.
Like how many other things did they like film and then went, no, we can't use that.
Yeah, that looks weird. That doesn't work. I'm disappointed we don't get any footage of Mrs. M doing any of those things.
Yes.
She looks like an old blind lady sitting on the bench because she's got her sunglasses on and her cane.
Yeah.
Talking about teaching Dreamweaver classes, and I'm just thinking, that software, anybody still use Dreamweaver?
And
No, she's talking about Dreamcatchers.
yes, there was a point in my life where I thought people like this, like Mr. Silvercloud,
Simon Smith.
were not real people. Like real people were never like that. And then I worked at the holistic school I worked at, and I was like, what?
And then you met entire groups of people who were just like that.
Who would speak often about my aura and things like that.
Quite seriously.
And I was just like, what the woo are you talking about?
They believe in that
Are
stuff.
you not the middle school science teacher?
It's okay if they believe in that kind. It's not hurting anybody.
I guess so.
We probably have listeners who believe in that stuff. Hint, hint. Don't make too much fun of it.
I won't make fun.
It's
I bet you
serious
we have listeners who listen to Judas Priest just like Frodo, too.
Got his t-shirt on.
That is his favorite t-shirt. And how do we know it's his favorite t-shirt?
He's wearing it again in season 11.
Season 11.
Yet another connection.
Gina accuses Sims of reading Wikipedia. What's wrong with reading Wikipedia?
It just means that you don't have real knowledge. I should have had results sooner, but the human crock pot makes it more difficult. She's so harsh. Gina, when they ask Silvercloud where he was, he says he was alone. It involved nakedness, kombucha, the Egyptian goddess of the starlit sky.
Yes.
So he was laying in the grass naked drinking kombucha?
I guess so. What's funny is...
Do you think we are meant to believe that he actually believes all of that stuff?
No. And the reason why I think that is because in that single solitary moment where he talks to the woman who runs the retreat and he says that ring was worth nothing, and I mean nothing. Like, here is underneath me, the real me.
I disagree with that. I don't think that means that he's not sincere about his current life. He just has knowledge from his former life, which was into stealing electronics. But he knows that she needs money.
Yes.
And he's saying, it's not going to help you.
Yeah.
Let it go.
That's true. Maybe.
I think he's sincere.
Maybe.
I don't think you could do that 4-hour tribal awakening with people 4 or 5 times, especially with the same person.
And run the apothecary.
If you didn't actually believe that stuff.
Yeah.
It would make you crazy angry after a while.
And again,
if you thought it was all bullshit.
It is valid to be interested in alternative forms of both consciousness and medicine.
If it helps people.
Yeah.
So long as they're doing it instead of taking regular medication, I got no problem with it.
But any reference to kombucha is now permanently locked in my mind in relation to my hockey team. Oh, my poor hockey team, who have lost in the playoffs.
What does that have to do with kombucha?
The former captain, the soft-spoken, very emotionally reserved captain,
John Tavares.
John Tavares, has a kombucha tap in his house.
Oh, for him?
Yes, and his family. He likes it that much.
Oh.
So
okay.
now I'm thinking of John naked in the backyard with kombucha.
With the Egyptian goddess of the starlit sky.
Yes.
It would explain why he's so laid back and soft-spoken.
There are several references to The Ring and Precious, My Precious. This is all
Lord of the Rings
Lord
references.
Of the Rings.
I love when Breen calls Sims and he's like, Precious, my precious, over the phone. People in New Zealand must have a love-hate relationship with Lord of the Rings. Like, there must be times when they're like, I'm tired of it, okay? I just need a break.
I need a break.
Stop mentioning it for 5 minutes, please.
And really, it's funny because up until, like, the making of the first movie, so that would have been 98, they started making them. Something like that.
Lord of the Rings was more associated with Oxford.
Was in no way related to New Zealand.
No, not at all.
And it must have been weird that it must have really overtaken the country at that point in time.
Yeah.
And so Gina says she much preferred when Lord of the Rings was banned.
In her country.
Yes, which we are assuming is Russia. Mm-hmm. Now, I've done some research into this.
Was Tolkien ever banned in Russia?
First of all, the actress who plays Gina was not born in Russia.
Right.
She was born in Transylvania, in Romania, which would have been behind the Iron Curtain at this point in time. Mm-hmm. She went to college in 94. So I'm assuming that if she went to college, it's hard to find her birth date. If she went to college in 94, she was born roughly in 1976.
Because you're saying that the character and the actress are roughly the same age.
Are roughly the same age. And in the Soviet Union, the Lord of the Rings was in fact banned. And it's easy to see why it was banned because a bunch of free-thinking religious folks are against a over-oppressive, industrialized state which wants to take over the world. Like, it's easy to see why they might have had some problems with it.
Yes, they might have thought it was anti-communist. Yes.
So it was banned in Russia, but there was in 1982, there was like an abridgment released for children. Now, I don't know if it's been a while since you read Fellowship of the Rings. It's not a kid's book.
No.
Hobbit, you could argue, is a kid's book.
Yeah.
It's high adventure, but Lord of the Rings is not a kid's book.
Special kind of kid who can get through it.
So it was banned in the Soviet Union until there was no Soviet Union anymore. She is absolutely right that was the case. I do not think that she would hate it as much, but it's fun that she hates it. It's fun that Breen plays it up, and it's fun that Kristen plays kind of in the middle where she's
just tired of hearing
about it. So
the witches come to confess.
Yes.
Danny confesses. Kitty confesses. Why does Kitty find it difficult to meditate? Because she thinks about laundry and string beans. Other than that, she's dumb.
She's just like the prototypical housewife.
You think that's why?
I think that's why she's...
Why string beans?
I don't know.
Why not laundry in the soccer run? Why string beans? She mentions it twice.
She mentions the string bean twice.
But she must be... She's the middle one, right? April is older. I think it's April, Kitty, Joy, Danny.
Yeah, I think so.
From oldest to youngest. Yes. And so it makes sense that Kitty, who's kind of in the middle, is trying to make up, right? Yeah. So she arranges for the three sisters to be there when Joy's going to be there.
Yeah.
And that makes all of them mad.
Yes.
Poor Kitty. She just wants to have some string beans and have everybody be happy.
They spend so much time at the passive-aggressive treehouse yelling at each other.
Joy throwing rocks at them from up above.
You're a party pooper. I'm like, oh, who poops at parties?
Half the people listening, more than half, have never seen that video.
So there's a YouTube video of a German comedian talking about the weirdness of the phrase party pooper, where we have put in our vernacular.
Yeah.
And
and it's not literal.
I'll put it in the show notes.
But he's taking it literally, and it's very funny.
It's incredibly fun. Why would anyone poop at the party? So this is it becomes kind of Rashomon here.
Yes.
Right.
Because everybody's telling the story.
Of the story.
Okay. I don't understand the St. John's wort situation.
No.
Right? So Gren has a business where he's importing these lightweight golf clubs from China.
Yes.
And he also buys some St. John's wort extract from China. And it's
like super potent.
That's part of what kills Joy.
And he wants to poison her with happiness?
I don't know I don't think he means to kill her because he wants her back.
Yeah.
He's not angry at her.
When she says, I want to try again, they both look very happy. The acting in that scene is very good.
Yeah. I think he's legitimately happy. So if he imports it and it's much more potent than what she has been using, it might be a mistake.
Maybe.
I don't even know if he meant to do that. He can't read it.
The who gets in trouble and who's to blame here is kind of all mixed up at the end.
So all three of the sisters claim that they've killed her.
Yes.
But they also all three claim to have gone back to take the wedge out.
Yes. Do you buy that there would be a wedge there?
No. I think the cleaners would have their own wedge.
I think
on their cleaning cart that they would use to prop
too.
Open every door that they need to prop
because
open.
That's a dangerous thing.
Yes.
Like even as a joke.
Plus, I think she could have slid it out from under the door from the inside.
I totally think she could have done that.
With a piece of paper or a stick or
towel.
Anything, really. Yeah. Unless they wedged
Crock
it in there really well. Bread.
One of those dim sum containers.
A chopstick, snack, Here's another connection between this episode and season 11. Frodo's coffee cart gets more interesting in every episode.
Okay, Frodo's coffee cart is fantastico. First of all, we're going to talk about the Frodo's sign. Because the Frodo's sign, the word Frodo's, is so fantastically punk.
Yeah.
It's
like graffiti.
Splattered paint. It's got graffiti. And it's like the set dresser worked really hard on that sign and then realized that they would have to put all these little letters in on the other side of the sign because it's one of those little letter things where you put it in. So they started at the top with Frodo's specials. Now, no one makes reference to this sign at all in the episode, but Sarah and I both took screenshots of it, and we were about to embark on a 5-minute discussion of this sign.
What the hell is a bumpy white?
Oh, whoa, we're not there yet. So, if you notice carefully, it's not Frodo's specials.
No.
It's Frodo's spackles. So specials is spelt wrong.
Okay.
It's like the E and the I have fallen off.
Okay.
So the letters are down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, right? Frodo's is perfect. Specials is SP, then there's a blank, C blank ALS.
Okay.
So 2 letters have fallen out of Frodo's specials. Then
he has
$4.
He has the following 5 specials.
Okay, we got to do these one at a time.
Okay. We got a bumpy white.
What is a bumpy white?
I don't know.
I do not know what a bumpy white is.
I don't know what makes it bumpy. Unless it's like instant coffee and you don't stir it enough, but he's not making instant.
And it's certainly not decaf, maybe caf or
is it lumpy?
I do not know. Then the set dresser has now officially become bored.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the second one is latte bucket.
Latte bucket.
It's $20.
It's 20 New Zealand dollars.
For a bucket of latte.
I would like a bucket of latte. This sign is on the screen for 2 seconds. It's full of jokes.
Oh my gosh. And it's not, it gets better.
Next, hit me.
Little bit longer than a short black. So you got a short black.
And then a little bit longer than a short black.
Even though a short and a tall are not the way he categorizes the sizes of his drinks. Because there's another sign that says small, middle, big, extra big.
Yes.
So what is a short?
I do not know.
Then plus all the other ones.
Dash plus all the other ones.
But finally,
so clearly they got bored.
everything else is $5.
Everything else is $5.
Unless you want to,
the letters AAAH.
$4.
$4. So what is an
There is a drink AHA,
Yes.
but that's completely different. It's not a coffee drink.
No.
I don't know what is. It needs an exclamation point. It could also be
Yes. So I'm assuming, let's be real and understand that somebody worked on this. Mm-hmm. Probably took at least a half hour to put all those letters in. Mm-hmm. That person, the people on the set that day, and us, and now you, dear listener, are the only people who have ever seen those jokes.
I think that person deserves our attention.
I would love to have that person on the episode. Oh my God. We have so many questions for that person. I'm in charge of Frodo's truck. Okay. Why does the sign in a truck?
What the hell is a bumpy white?
What the hell is a bumpy? There is one door in Frodo's
Coffee cart.
One door. One. And it is labeled exit.
Yes. He is kind of dumb, though. Once he gets in there, he might forget how to get back out again.
I need a latte bucket.
And yeah, extra big is not big enough. I want a bucket of latte.
So then the other thing that comes to light is that Grendel is ordering all of this from Chengdu, which is a real region in China. But in the weird world that is Sarah and Mark, we used to work near each other, but we did not know each other.
No.
This was
Long before we met each other.
long before we met, years before we met each other. And there was a restaurant on the north side of Indy called Chengdu. Mm-hmm. This is the only restaurant in the history of existence to actually do the triumvirate. Most places, you have to say quick, fast, cheap, pick two, right? It can be quick and cheap. It can be good and fast, but not cheap, or it could be not cheap, but good and fast. Whatever one I didn't deal with. But Chengdu was good, fast, and cheap. Mm-hmm. It was, you got an entree, a soup, an egg roll, and a chicken wing.
And a drink.
And a drink.
For like $5.50.
$5.50. Something like
In
that.
like 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Unbelievably fast.
It was really good. I went there like once a week
Yeah.
for the like 3-4 years I worked up
How
there.
we did not run into each other,
We
do
probably
know.
did. We were probably sitting in the restaurant at the same time, and we just
probably
didn't know each other, so we didn't know.
So he confesses. So now we have 4 confessions.
Well, he doesn't confess so much as they catch him.
Yeah.
They find the box of St. John's wort extract in his garage with all of his golf clubs.
Yes.
And Gina has already figured out that Joy had a heart condition. And so, and very high serotonin levels, and taking that high a level of St. John's wort would have put her heart in danger.
Yes.
Again, I don't think he meant to kill her. I don't, that doesn't make any sense.
I have in my notes at this point in time, it would have been more likely if we called the episode The Wedges of Brokenwood instead of The Witches of Brokenwood.
It could be the warts of Brokenwood.
Because, wow.
There's no witches. It's so disappointing. Because so not only is this place like a prison with CCTV everywhere, and you're not allowed to have caffeine or meat or cheese or
Except
anything
for
good.
Mission Impossible Frodo.
And Grendel can get
Yeah.
in and out. But when you arrive, they check your baggage
Yeah.
And they check your trash.
I would have been
for
like,
contraband.
Screw you.
How much am I paying?
Yeah.
And you're treating me like a baby? I don't think so.
Like, this is understandable in
If
a
I
Poirot.
eat a pizza, I don't get the maximum benefit that I'm paying for here. That's my problem.
And I understand this in Poirot episodes in the 30s when these sort of institutions were different.
They were like medical places.
That poor time that Poirot goes to the
fat camp.
The fat camp. It's not good. And Hastings is eating Cornish hen and stuff like
whatever he wants.
So
they check her bag. So she is aware of the St. John's wort. It's not like he poisoned her with it by slipping it into her food or something. She's voluntarily taking it.
I think this is an example of a writing situation where a writer goes, I want to make a story where everyone's a little bit guilty, but no one's super guilty. And they all went, yeah, that's a good idea. And then they did it and realized it's not satisfying.
At the end?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Gren could have just as easily said, she's been taking St. John's wort for a long time. She knew I could get it inexpensively from China. So I ordered a case of it for her. It's the same stuff that she's always been taking.
Yeah. It was on the same form as the golf club.
She recognized the bottle. It was what she always took.
And he wouldn't have to pay tariffs on it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he could have just said, I mean, I don't think there's any evidence that he purposefully ordered something far stronger than what she was used to.
Yeah.
But he becomes aware of that because he slips into her room and takes the bottle away. So he knows that
which just makes him look guilty.
Well, he knows the bottle makes him look guilty if they think he bought it on purpose.
I guess. And why would you not hide that? If you're going to sneak in and steal the bottle, why would you not get rid of it in your garage?
Hide the whole box. Throw it out.
Throw it out. Anyway, the last 5-minute scene has so much in it. We will probably spend the next 20 minutes talking about a scene that is not related to the episode in any way.
So let's talk about who's guilty here.
Okay.
All three of the sisters
are a little bit sort of guilty.
Are at least guilty of lying to the police.
Yes. They are obstruction.
Two of them are obstructing justice.
Yep.
And one of them legitimately closed her in there, but came back after eating an entire pizza to let her out. Which could have really, really hurt her and maybe even killed her.
In front of Frodo.
She ate the pizza, hiding behind a curtain.
What do you think Frodo did for the 10 minutes?
I think he sat there and waited.
Probably talked to her.
While she's going.
Who can eat a pizza in 10 minutes?
He's dodging crusts or something. So what April did to her is dangerous.
Yep.
And could have killed anybody, never mind somebody with a heart condition.
I don't think to the level of manslaughter.
Reckless homicide?
Maybe.
And the other two lied to the police and covered it up. Then there's Gren, which we've discussed. We don't know if he had any intent to hurt her at all.
No.
Or if he even understood that the stuff he bought was stronger than what she was taking before until she was already dead.
Yep.
And then he slipped in to get it.
Kimberly did nothing. Fleur did nothing. St. Cloud did nothing.
Silver Cloud?
No. So they're all free.
The most guilty person is April because she actually trapped her in there.
At most.
And very well could have killed her and hurt her, or at least hurt her. Should have known that it would hurt her to leave her trapped in there that long.
And Gren, let's be honest, Gren's going to get all her money unless there's something in the will that changes that.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of helps him.
Maybe short term, he makes bad decisions. So
he does make bad decisions, including too much time golfing and drinking with his friends.
Yeah. Pretending to pass out on the couch.
Yes.
Wait a minute. No, I have that wrong. Oh, back up. Okay. So on the night she died, he pretended to be passed out on the couch. He doesn't know she's dead.
No.
When he slips into her room and takes the St. John's wort.
But he wouldn't have known how much she took.
So why does he do that then?
I don't know. And plus, what is he going to kill her with? Happiness?
No,
I realize too much serotonin's
going to
harm.
He knows she has a heart condition.
But she's administering it.
Yeah, but if he purposefully bought much stronger stuff, he would know that would be harmful to her.
I would much rather buy he realized what he had done and then was like, it's not premeditation.
Didn't want her to take it, so he slipped in to take it away.
Yeah.
Now I'm not so sure anymore.
But we never get a scene of him sneaking away.
Yeah, we do.
We get a scene of him sneaking in, but never a scene sneaking away from the...
But we know he pretended to be passed out just so he could slip away and have an alibi.
I guess.
But he doesn't know she's dead.
Yeah. It's weird.
I don't know. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm surprised he didn't run into one of the sisters in the dark. Or Frodo. Like, there's so many people creeping around in the dark. It's not that big of a place.
Frodo finds the addicted sister in the bushes drinking the vodka and the cigarettes.
Sits down and shares a drink with her while he's waiting for the other sister to eat the pizza.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the party. Breen's leaving.
The Breen survival pack.
It's a Hawaiian shirt, an I Heart Brokenwood hat, and a pair of binoculars.
Yes.
Because you got to keep an eye on Roxy.
The Solomon Islands is not much hotter than Brokenwood. But we'll go.
I love that Gina gives him Anna Karenina. It's a romantic book about a woman who throws herself under a train.
I have almost said those exact words to somebody who I've seen who has been like, what's Anna Karenina about? It's a love story in which the woman throws herself under a train.
Were you recommending it when you described it that way?
No, I don't think so. I don't have a lot of... Anna Karenina is, to me, a lot like Madame Bovary. And I don't know if you've read Madame Bovary, but there was a movie in the 90s released of Madame Bovary. And I had read the book, but I had not fully comprehended the book. I read it really fast. And the movie really hits home how annoyed you are of Madame Bovary. And I felt the same way about Anna Karenina.
You're like, just die already. I know you die.
Like, can you go to the train station?
Just end it. Why is there another 150 pages?
But more importantly, we find out the ferret's name.
Frankie.
Frankie the ferret.
He's got a little ribbon on.
He does.
And Mike gives Breen a Walkman.
Yes.
And a cassette tape.
Mike's top 20 country essentials.
Because, he's going to need that, I guess.
I guess. And I understand. Walkmans were so essential to my personality and who I was when I was a kid. Like listening on the bus to the music I wanted to hear was an identity forming institution. And
it was the first time you could listen to what you wanted to, and it didn't have to bother anybody else.
Totally understand that. But Breen is not that kid.
My image of Breen going to be a policeman on the Solomon Islands is that he's basically going to become Baywatch and just be perpetually sunburned.
I guess. Sort of.
Because I just think of the Solomon Islands as like beaches, which don't really go with ginger.
No. Breen's cake is horrendous.
That's because Sims made it. She's like, I'll bake you a cake. He's like, I didn't know you baked. She's like, it can't be too hard. Yeah, neither is making coffee. You can't do that.
No, she doesn't do either of those things. If you did not catch it, I did post pictures of Sarah's cake on all of the relative...
Speaking of cakes.
Of the social media channels. In fact, somebody on the Facebook asked me to post it because they had responded to one of the posts I made on.
It was super cool.
It was, everyone agreed that it was a super cool cake. Roxy calls and we run in to Daniel Chalmers.
Roxy calls because she needs Breen to come because she's knocked herself out with her nunchucks. Which I thought she was good at this stuff.
Anyone who has done anything with nunchucks realizes, that
is it numb or none?
None.
Nunchucks.
As far as I know.
Nunchaku.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah,
and
he opens the door and Chalmers is just standing there looking really cool.
So Chalmers is in like a biker jacket. Now he does ride a motorcycle in these early seasons, but I like to think that he was undercover doing some some stuff.
I don't remember. I'm sure I'll be reminded in the next episode if he ever talks about where he came from, where he was posted before.
So,
but I imagine it was a cooler place than Brokenwood.
Now
Breen says nothing much happens around here. Yeah, you just have a murder every single week.
Yes. Now, Jared Rockari is Chalmers, and he worked before this, but nothing to this level. This is a huge deal for this young actor.
He has such good dimples.
He has
the best dimples.
He has fantastic dimples and big arms.
Nice arms.
I'm thinking, do we see tattoos on him? Because I'm assuming
I don't
he
remember
has some tattoos.
I don't know. We'll have to be looking out for him.
We'll have to be looking out for him. Now, I have a question for you.
I'll just be looking for dimples. They're so cute.
Who is in more episodes, Breen or Chalmers? Now, this is season 7 of 11, so there's an easy answer.
Well, you'd think it's Breen, but the Breen seasons have fewer episodes, so it's Chalmers.
It is Chalmers by 2 episodes.
As of now.
As of now.
As of the end of season 11?
Yeah.
Okay. They're both equally good.
I think they're both, they did the transition the way that Midsummer does it, that it's good, that it's a completely different person.
Yeah.
It's not a Breen.
A similar replacement. They didn't bring in another ginger guy.
Yeah.
But what they did do that Midsummer never does is actually hand off between the sergeants, and I like that they meet.
So Chalmers asked Breen for some tips for the new guy.
Just don't let Kristen make the coffee.
Don't let Kristen make the coffee.
I think that Breen should have given Chalmers the Walkman and the cassette tape.
Oh.
And said, you should listen to this. You're going to need to build up your resistance.
Yeah.
You'll understand the boss a lot better if you learn to love this music.
And we don't learn this episode, but we will soon learn, probably the next episode, that he is also a partaker in the short sleeve tie. So he wears a shirt and tie. He's a very well-dressed young man.
Otherwise known as the Dilbert.
The Dilbert. He has
the short dress
sleeves
shirt. That show he can show off his guns.
Shows off his guns.
I like Chalmers a lot.
I do too. I love how Chalmers, like when Breen was given crap, he would scoff and people would just not pay attention to him. But Chalmers doesn't take it from anybody.
Breen has little brother energy.
Yeah.
Chalmers doesn't.
No. I think that's perfect.
And what I really appreciate about Brokenwood in general is that Kristen is the senior officer to whoever this character is, whether it's Chalmers or Breen, and that is never an issue.
It's never a thing.
That she's a woman and that she's senior to them.
No.
Never an issue.
It's also, like, this is a method of storytelling that I like to call the story is there is no story. And what that means is there's no story about Kristen being a woman and being in a leadership role. Mm-hmm. It's just assumed that women can be in leadership roles.
Yep.
In the same way, it is just assumed that he is Maori, but we don't go into him, his family, or anything like that.
No, he's not the token one.
And he doesn't have...
Nobody says, oh, well, it'd be nice to have you on the team because you'll understand this, that, or... It's
and there's
just
no
not a thing.
time where he's talking to Todd or anything like that where they're like, well, they wouldn't understand.
Nope.
Like, it's nothing like that.
Nope. It's
And
just not a thing.
That, like a lot of shows that did this, it's like a world without COVID. Mm-hmm. We're just assuming that COVID didn't happen in this place.
Which is fine. People don't need to be reminded of that.
Well, Sarah, we have another mini for this week coming out for the last episode, the Odes to Christmas, which has a interesting method of death if you've read the synopsis.
Poor Santa.
And we will be covering one of my favorite episodes, season 7, episode 3, Dog Day Morning, the next episode, which is a direct reference to Dog Day Afternoon and is perhaps and I don't know if you remember this, in the movie Snatch, there is a horrible robbery gone wrong. Do you remember that? They try to rob a betting establishment and it goes just horribly wrong. This may be the second worst
robbery
of all time. They walk in and somebody recognizes them right away.
Yep.
So,
hey, Dave, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why you got a gun?
we will be more introduced Chalmers, and we will see more of the pigeon costume.
Yes. I love the porky pigeon.
The porky pigeon.
It would only be better if Ray, being as cheap as he is, bought a costume, like a mascot costume that had a pigeon body, but a pig head.
Oh, that would
because
be
he got
fantastic.
him cheaper.
It would be.
So that would make the name make sense anyway.
If Ray could get it cheaper, he would be doing it.
He would do it.
Yeah.
And that would explain why it's called the porky pigeon. Oh, until then, bye, Maniacs.
Bye, Maniacs. Thanks for joining us on the Mystery Maniacs podcast. If you enjoyed our crazy podcast today, don't miss out on future episodes. Follow us on social media for updates, behind the scenes content, and exclusive sneak peeks. Subscribe, like, and share to spread the word. Bye, Maniacs.
What would a pigeon sound like?